I was born in Western Australia. It was around about the age of 18 months. I was found living in the streets with my biological brothers at the time. They were stealing out of supermarkets and whatnot to keep me alive. From then on there, we were put into protective services and foster homes throughout Australia. At the age of 4, I was lucky enough to be adopted into the Lee family. And it was from then on there I knew where I actually belonged. It was with the Lee family. I grew up on a horse farm with I've got an older brother and 2 older sisters, and we were involved in lots of social activities, sports, school camps, made lots of friends, went to Christ the King Anglican College, and from there I pursued my career as being a chef. And then around about 13 is when my life sort of took a bit of a turn that I didn't think that was going to affect me for the rest of my life. School was closed for a day, I'm not too sure what for, but I went to work with Dad, and we were on the way to Yarrawonga where Dad had a job there. We were pulled up at Roadworks. There was 5 cars stationary, a ute in front of us and 2 cars behind. I remember him turning the steering wheel to the left, trying to get out the road because there was something coming up. A truck was coming up behind us at 110 kilometres an hour, and just realised the truck's just gone up the back of us and collected two cars, and we were flipped in a 180 just like that, and the ute in the front on its side. It was later on after that accident that I found out that 4 people were killed underneath the truck that was trapping them. Throughout my life, I've just masking this with working stupid hours or keeping myself busy, and turning to alcohol and drugs really masked the pain of all that. I just didn't want to relive it. So that was the easiest way to black out days on end. No one really wants to confront that stuff each day, and that was the only way I knew how to cope with those memories or feelings of what that day actually entailed. Even now, speaking about this it's hard, but I've come to realise that that everything's okay. I was about 17. I started to mix with the wrong crowd. I remember Dad saying that I could leave school if I found an apprenticeship. Went and did an apprenticeship as a chef, and I thought joining the army I could really start fresh, and I went in fully qualified as a chef. I was qualified by the time I was 19. So I pursued that career in the army, and I left when I was 25. I believed I could be a lot more professional in what I wanted to do, so I moved to Melbourne at the age of 25. And there I ran cafes, clubs, bars, a whole works. So I used to build cafes up, they're running down to something good and then move on. But yet the chef's got to do the long hours and stay behind, and it's a different trade. You've got to take in everyone's consideration: staff wages, rostering, running the business, stock control. It's a rock star lifestyle. There's no rest with your mind, and you're kept on busy. I think that's why I loved being a chef, because a good 13, 14 hours a day, I wouldn't know when to stop. Mum would always tell me not to overwork myself because I just get myself run down. And I should have listened to Mum. I started up my own granola business, and I called it Uncle Larry's Granola. And once I'd finished work, I'd go home and I'd do this as well. And I built this granola business up from scratch, and it was sort of taking its toll on me as well. It was a great achievement in my life to do that, but it ran me down to the point where I'd be drinking again. So my whole life has just been involved around alcohol and drugs. I've been a alcoholic for about 15 years now. Is whenever it's quiet, I just start thinking about my past, being adopted, the car accident. It was about 2.5 years ago that I believe God's spoken to my sister's life. She went to a ice epidemic meeting, which is one of the mentors from Teen Challenge spoke about how men can go to Teen Challenge and get their lives back. And Teen Challenge is a program where it's a rehab program where you can find yourself again and get to know God. And this is where I found God, and it saved my life. I left everything behind. I left all my friends. I left my career. Being a chef, I love being a chef, but it's just so stressful. I wish God, I let God into my life ages ago. I know that God's in my life. That's the direction that I'm enjoying. I feel great. I feel free. I feel like I've got my life back again. It's amazing. Letting God in my life, it's changed everything about me. It's happened for the best. I'm now close to my family. My family from the country, so I get to see my brothers and sisters often. I get to see my nieces and nephews often. Open your heart and be still and listen to God. He will do wonderful things in your life, and that's what's happened to me. I never thought I could break this stronghold, but I have, and here I am telling my story.